So, guys, we all know that there must come a point in a man's life where he would need to leave his mother and his father behind, be with his wife. Same goes with the woman. She will need to leave her parents, hopefully, support and build an empire together. So, one of the quickest investments that the couple could make is basically purchasing a car, right? And you could also be someone who's, you're not necessarily starting a family, but now you're working, you can afford one, and you're just really looking for that most affordable car that you could. Or lastly, you could also be someone who's just looking for that second car. You already have a big one and you need a budget car, a second car that you could use to drive around the city. So that's my goal for today, guys. Welcome to Project Gentleman. We are here. We love to talk about the things that help us win in life. This is my top 10 most affordable cars that you can consider. And hopefully, this could help you. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy. Here we go. Let's start with your featured comment at Sandra. Sir, ano po mas maganda kunin? Kasi plano ko kumuha din this month. So I hope this could help you. And then shout out to Manny Rodriguez and to Aldrin James Peralta. So let's start. What is gonna be my criteria for my top 10? First of all, yung kanyang looks. It's really important for me to be able to, see every time I see the car, you must be proud with it. So para sa akin, even no matter the functionality, even the features, if I could just compromise, I love the form factor, the design, and the looks of the car. So and then next is it must be under 1 million. Let's just keep it under 1 million. That's for me what it means, a budget car or an economy car. And then next is features. Yan, yung kanyang tech, safety, of course. We could all have those things in a car under 1 million, hopefully. And then functionality. It must not just be beautiful, but it must also have at least the great functionality, the space, the good engine, good amount of ground clearance is very important as well. And then next is yung kanyang price. Of course, is it gonna be reasonable? Even though we keep this under 1 million, can we say that it is reasonable for that price? And then lastly, preferably lang naman, I know that a lot of you still like manual transmission, but I would like to recommend to you guys automatic transmission. I've been driving manual cars for a lot of years, and now having an automatic transmission car for a couple of years now, it's really different, guys. We never know when stuff could happen along the road, cause traffic, accidents, and it would really be great if you could have that comfort. So now that we have that out of the way, let's start with our very first recommendation. Guys, the Suzuki Espresso, these are your variants and the prices. Guys, just around 600,000 line of budget, you already have a car. So I would like to recommend the automatic gear shift. Here's your specs, your engine, just 1.0 liter engine. You have 3 cylinders lang, 12 valves, front wheel drive. This is your torque and your power. Okay, and then your ground clearance as well, very high ground clearance. That's one of the things that I like about the Espresso. For me, pros, the most budget friendly automatic small car. It's not necessarily an automatic transmission, but Suzuki made a way to make it like an automatic, still manual, but they found a way to remove the clutch. You just have to step on the gas, just need to know how to control it. The next, you have compact design, guys. Honestly, not just it being like a small car, but I really honestly like the design of the Espresso as well. It has good infotainment screen. At least yung bagong version has a good infotainment screen. You can now use Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Very modern, right? Keeping up with the times. Parking sensors, rear camera. It is very fuel efficient. And then you have a remote trunk opener as well, which I really like. And then lastly, mini Jimny looks. If you're into like building something like that, you want the design, yung mga forma, Espresso is really a great starting car. Cons naman tayo, guys. Like I mentioned kanina, it's not necessarily an automatic. So you need to learn the concept of shifting gears. But that's gonna be easy, guys. It's gonna be easy, honestly. And unique orientation lang yung kanyang instrument panel is nasa gitna. Next, another medyo con niya is manual yung kanyang roll up windows dun sa likuran. Sa second row lang naman. But what I like Suzuki did, at least they made the front seats automatic yung kanyang power windows. So at least you have that. And then next, wala siyang lumbar support, at least for the seats. No power folding side mirrors, and then wala rin siyang hill start assist control for mga ahonan. But the good thing is that this is a small car, so it's gonna be easy to remove the brake to the gas pedal. That's not gonna be a problem, I believe. So that's Suzuki Espresso for you. Just 600,000 pesos, guys. I think meron pa itong 9K monthly or 8K monthly. You can consider, you can really ask the agents, guys. It's very very affordable. Next, of course, nandyan yung ating isa sa mga favorite, one of my most like respected cars talaga dito in the lineup in the Philippines, the Toyota Wigo. So, you have here your variants starting at 600,000 din siya, guys. Meron din siyang option for the 600K mark, but that's gonna be a manual. But the next one is the mid variant, the Wigo E variant is also with a 600,000 mark. Naka-automatic na rin na Wigo. But if I were to choose, I would like to recommend to you guys to go na lang for the top of the line Wigo, which is the G, because you're gonna have all of the features that is really keeping up with the times, modern features, and just really extra comfort. For more information about the variants of the Toyota Wigo, check out in my playlist and my channel. So, like I said, I like the G variant, 700,000 mark. This is your specs. 1.0 liter engine lang din po siya. So that means it's gonna be a bit underpowered like the Espresso, but if you don't need that much of the power, hindi kayo masyadong situated with uphill situations, then the 1.0 liter is gonna be really good enough, guys. It could go to places, mga uphill places. I believe it could still kaya pa rin to umakyat. 3 cylinders lang din siya, 12 valves, yan yung kanyang power, tsaka torque. And then ground clearance nga lang is just 160 millimeters. Okay, higher talaga si Espresso when it comes to ground clearance. So if you're like medyo malubak yung sa inyo, choose the Espresso. But if you don't think you don't need that much of the ground clearance, Wigo really, guys, is very comfortable, features wise, really highly recommended. So what do you have with the Toyota Wigo? Of course, for your pros, number one, Toyota's reliability. Okay, for this segment, solid na solid talaga. Toyota, hindi ka magkakaproblema along the way. Compact design, guys, as usual. Jam-packed features. Fuel efficiency. Power folding side mirrors, guys, which I love. Push start button. LED na kanyang headlights, guys. Medyo social, di ba? And then 8-inch touchscreen display. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Of course, you have my favorite reverse camera and rear sensors. So, very awesome offering, right? Kaya lang sa kanyang cons, guys, is wala siyang center armrest. Okay, that's something that you can't really expect on this budget car segment. Mostly plastic yung kanang interior. No elbow paddings para sa yung left elbow when you're driving. Unfortunately, no leather steering wheels. So at this top of the line, you don't have leather steering wheels. At least Toyota could have just given that for a top of the line. But yeah, you can't expect that much. That's what you have, the pros and cons for the Toyota Wigo. Next, guys, you have, of course, isa sa mga pinakamalakas talaga today is the Toyota Raize. For your variants, you have up to 1 million, which is the top of the line. And then if you don't need much of the features, you have the base model E, which is a manual. We have a very good comparison about this. A lot of you guys have been awesome supporting that. Raize manual is really under 800,000. So just with the 700K mark, manual nga lang, but it's very good to consider if you're okay with a manual transmission, right? You already have the benefits of a Raize, which we're going to be talking about. And if you want the most affordable Raize you can have just under 900K with the 800,000 mark is the Raize E. Okay, that's at least the automatic that you could have. 1.2 liter gasoline. Ayan, medyo mas malaki na siyang konti sa Wigo and Espresso. And by the way, this is not ranked, okay? This is gonna be according to like the marks, 600, 700, 800 mark, 900K mark. So 3 cylinders lang din siya, unfortunately. And front wheel drive, power and torque, ayan, you can see. And then the main benefit of the Raize is the high ground clearance. Okay, very good for malulubak and may mga humps na mga daanan. Okay, you have the high ground clearance for the pros. Mini SUV design, which is very modern as well in my opinion. I like it. Of course, you have the Toyota's reliability, fuel efficient, 8-inch touchscreen kagaya nung kay Wigo with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, aircon controls, guys. You have digital. Okay, so medyo social na talaga ang interior ni Raize. LED taillights, okay? Yung kanyang 16-inch alloy wheels as well. You have speed sensing door locks. Kaya lang, yung kanyang cons is Daihatsu platform, which means thinner body frame. That also means yung noise medyo mas pumapasok. Yung kanyang doors, pag narinig mo, sumasara, it's not that solid. You have only halogen headlights and fog lamps, guys. Key type or mechanical yung ignition niya for the Raize E variant. Wala pa siyang push start, but basically, very good na tong Toyota Raize E, guys, in my opinion. Next, ayan. So, right after the Toyota Raize comes, dumating na dito, representative from Kia, which is the Kia Sonet. So, you have up to 1 million pa rin na price range, but you can have as low as the 700,000 mark. So, from this point, guys, 700,000, I would like to recommend that, but it's gonna be manual. Same with Raize. So medyo tumatapat din talaga siya kay Raize. And but what I would like to recommend is the LX variant, the lowest automatic that you could for the Sonet. Specs, 1.5 liter yung engine niya, guys. Medyo mas malaki rin kay Raize and then mas powerful. All right? 4 cylinders pa. So that's really very good, guys, for in terms of power. And then you have a high ground clearance as well, higher than the Toyota Raize. What are your pros for this Kia Sonet LX? You have a very high ground clearance, LED straight yung kanyang taillights dito sa likuran. Ang ganda tignan nun, guys. Then you have reverse camera as well and rear sensors. Very good, right? Keyless entry pa, and then mayroon ka pang cruise control. 8-inch din ang infotainment screens. Just a matter of do you like the design. Then speed sensing door locks as well. And you have a sunglass holder at the top. You have second row AC vents and USB ports as well. I also want to mention it has thicker body frame as well. So napaka-solid nito pag sinasara yung pinto. So what are your cons nga lang? For the cons, you have, I think, because you have a bigger engine, larger displacement, medyo mas malakas to sa gas. For the 1.5 liter engine, it's gonna be costing you a lot more with the fuel consumption. And then no hill start assist nga lang, halogen headlights lang of course. And then no power folding side mirrors, unfortunately. And then no push start button, key type lang, gaya ni Raize. Second row seats only fold 100%. That's something that is a con, major con for me if you're into folding the second row. But if not naman, you always have that constant setup, then no problem. Okay? So yun lang for the Kia Sonet. Next, ito na, si Chery Tiggo 2 Pro. So you have two variants available. You have one for the 700,000 mark, and then you also have one for the 800,000 mark. So if you really want to, sa budget, medyo kapos talaga, you can consider the manual. But like I said, I would like to recommend the automatic variant. So I would like to choose the one with the 800,000 mark. And with your specs, same with Kia Sonet, 1.5 liter din yung kanyang engine. And then 4 cylinders pa, front wheel drive. You can see the power, guys. It's really there. Torque. Number one, cruise control. That's very good for this price. Electronic parking brakes, wireless charging pad, superior, yung kanyang interior storage, guys, if you could check this out. Ang daming mga pockets nito sa loob with center armrest pa, and then 10-inch pa yung kanyang screen, and then soft touch materials used in the interior. Very premium. You have your daytime running lights, roof rails, pang family if you wanna go camping, ready na siya. Nice 16-inch dark gray alloy wheels. Ang ganda. Nagaganda na ako sa gulong talaga nito, guys. I mean sa wheels, very nice. You have rear camera, of course, and rear sensors, which for me is a non-negotiable. And then lastly, you have second row charging ports as well. So what is the lang talaga dito? The cons. So I would like to say gas consumption, like Sonet, medyo malakas din siguro to because of the much bigger. And then next, the number one con talaga nito is, of course, the Chinese brand stigma. Alam naman natin, medyo hesitant talaga mga Pinoy, but it's starting to grow. Honestly, I can see that a lot of people have been buying Chinese cars because of the premium comfort that I mentioned a while ago. You just don't have second row seats, doesn't fold flat. Medyo paangat yung kanyang second row pagka tinupin natin. And then you don't have second row armrest and second row AC vents. Yung kanyang spare tire is just steel wheels. Hindi siya kamukha nitong mga pogi na rims natin. So aside from that, guys, aside of it being a Chinese car, I really think this has included in my list as a budget car because it has a lot of good qualities in it. So next, another Chinese brand for this list that I would recommend is the Geely GX3 Pro. Okay, so you have comfort variant 800,000 mark, and then you just have the lower variant still with a 700,000 mark. I would like to recommend the 800,000 variant. You have here same specs with Raize and I mean Sonet and Chery Tiggo, 1.5 liter engine and 4 cylinders. These are your output and your torque. Okay, ground clearance medyo mababa din siya on paper. And then pros niya is of course number one on this segment. I think ito lang yung merong sunroof for this price point. Next is cruise control. You have nice looking 16-inch alloy wheels. Very good. Geely. Then you have tire pressure monitoring as well, guys. You have roof rack, keyless entry, and then rear parking sensors, 8-inch screen with mirroring. For the cons, guys, this is the number one con for me in terms, di lang dito, but with Geely, most of Geely cars, automatically, you don't have right with the get-go, Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto. So you're gonna have to, do some work around with that. But meron naman yung mirroring, screen mirroring. So, and then you don't have speed sensing door locks as well. And then, of course, like I mentioned, the Chinese brand Stigma, okay, the reliability, after sales, yung kanyang, depending din sa dealership. Like I said with, if you can watch the Geely Nightmare experience video natin, doon medyo masaklap din talaga pag Geely dealership yung ginawa nila dun sa customer. Maybe you could also consider that. Next, the MG ZS, guys, I believe is one of those cars that really I could highly consider if I'm gonna buy. But it's with the 900,000 mark nga lang. You have the COM and the Lux variants. So specs, gaya rin ng mga nabanggit kanina, 1.5 liter engine, medyo malakas din to, guys. If you need that power, 4 cylinders, very good to consider talaga to. So you have unique, yung kanyang tailgate ni MG dito sa likuran. If you can see that on my review. Spacious ang interior, guys. I love the interior of this car. 10-inch touchscreen, very good. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto pa. LED headlights, guys, very social. Cruise control, auto hold brakes, electronic parking brakes, guys, for this price point. Good for traffic talaga tong car na to, lifestyle kumbaga. And then second row AC vents pa, good for your passengers at the back. Rear sensors, rear camera, push start button, hill start assist pa, and then napakalaking 17-inch alloy wheels. But take note, this is not the one. There's the picture that I could get, but you can refer to my review. Ano lang to, hindi siya two-tone actually. Just monotone alloy wheels. Yan, like I said, that's one of the cons. Sayang wala siyang two-tone alloy wheels, but it's good enough. At least naka-alloy. And then no second row armrest. Second row tunnel might be very high for me. Then Chinese brand Stigma. Parts availability, medyo I'm hearing a lot of problem, and of course the after sales as well. Still, I hope that they could improve these companies, these Chinese brands. But if you're willing, really, if you like the design, I honestly think this is one of the most good looking on this segment. All right, stylish and sophisticated. And then note, consider MG3. If you don't need the high ground clearance, watch my MG3 review, guys. If you are okay with like a sedan or hatchback siya technically, but it's very nice like a sport car. If you don't need the high ground clearance and the space, MG3, I would like to recommend that as well. Next, guys, you have the Suzuki Dzire. All right? So, starting at 600,000 mark pa siya, guys. Meron siyang manual variant, 600K lang. Napakamura niyan, guys. Meron ka lang sedan na napaka-solid. So dito naman tayo guys sa mga sedan naman. What I would like to recommend is the top of the line na guys, GL Plus, the AGS, automatic gear shift din, gaya ni Espresso, because this is a Suzuki. You have a 1.2 liter engine. You have 4 cylinders, which is, it means it is solid. May hatak din to. And then ground clearance is 165 millimeters. Good enough, right? And then pros natin for the Dzire, sa akin lang, isa to sa pinakagusto kong sedan. I actually considered this as well when we got our first car. High ground clearance for a sedan, power folding side mirrors, rear sensor guys, 7-inch screen, second row aircon vent, second row armrest, 'di ba? Napakaayos talaga. And then fuel efficient, hill start control for mga ahonan, and then it's a very great alternative for the Vios and the Mirage. If you're someone who's parang sawa na kayo dun sa Vios tsaka Mirage, you're looking for something different, this is the one for you. I personally like the white version of this, and the gray is also very good enough for me kung walang white. Okay, the cons nga lang guys is medyo tinipid din to because of the price, of course. Halogen lang yung headlights and fog lamps. 14-inch monotone lang yung alloy wheels at the top of the line. No reverse camera, no center armrest dito as a driver guys. For me, that's a deal breaker. AGS then transmission driving, like I said kanina, learning curve, right? And then no speed sensing door locks. But those are, for me, medyo forgivable naman if you really like this car. So I did not include the sibling Suzuki Swift, which a lot of you guys mentioned on our other videos, because para sa akin lang, mataas yung kanyang price, almost 1 million na, and then mababa pa yung kanyang ground clearance for a hatchback, and I don't think you're getting a lot in terms of the price. But you can still consider that if you want. Again, like I said, Suzuki Dzire, very desirable sedan. Next, ayan, of course, nandito na ang ating isa sa mga pinakamalakasan din. Talagang isa sa mga top budget cars in our country, Mitsubishi Mirage G4. Very solid option for a sedan. You have great available variants as well for your price point. You can choose for the 700,000 mark, guys. For manual nga lang, you have here the 1.2 manual transmissions. If you want an automatic, the most affordable you could get is the middle variant, the GLX. And then lastly, you have the top of the line GLS Mitsubishi Mirage. For me, guys, you could honestly choose the mid variant. I think that it's gonna be good enough, honestly. But I would like to recommend to you guys the top of the line na. Kasi konti lang naman difference, oh. 819 and then 899. So if you could stretch with your budget a little bit, you could enjoy the most out of the Mirage G4. But if you don't need the features which I'm going to be talking about, you can always check the mid variant GLX. Okay, you have 1.2 liter engine, 3 cylinders lang din siya. Mas better si Dzire on this area. And then as you can see right here, the power and the torque is obviously medyo lower siya compared kay Dzire. And then 170 nga lang din yung kanyang ground clearance, which is very high for a sedan. Benefits of the GLS is fuel efficient siya, 170 ground clearance, 7-inch infotainment screen with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and then push start button pa, reverse camera. You have of course, the second row armrest for Mitsubishis, and you actually have easy entry button, guys, for the doors and for the trunk as well. Dun sa likod, may mapipindot po kayong button dun. As long as you have the key near you, you can easily access the trunk. That's why I would like to recommend this higher variant Mirage. You have your cons, only monotone wheels, only halogen. Like I mentioned kanina rin, wala siyang two-tone at the top of the line yung kanyang wheels, sayang. Only halogen headlights and fog lamps at the top of the line. Pull up yung kanyang door dito, guys. Medyo old school siya dito, yung kanyang doors. And then, no second row AC vents lang din siya. As a sedan, medyo sayang yun. No parking sensors, only 3 cylinders, and wala siyang hill start assist. Having that said, ayan na, we have here the best-selling car in the Philippines, and that's there's a reason why for that. For a lot of you guys, you know, this was my choice when we purchased our first car. XLE yung pinili namin, guys, during that time. You have a lot of variants. I would like to recommend the mid variant talaga nito, guys, because you have all of the Toyota Vios that you're gonna need for the XLE variant. When we made our purchase, it was still on the 800,000 mark, but now Toyota decided to bump it up to the 900,000 mark na yung mid variant, which is, I think, maybe justifiable siya ng konti because the lower variant, the XE, you could consider this, guys. It has the good enough features, and I believe that you're gonna have a lot of missing piece as well with the XE variant. So that's also to consider. That is why I would like to recommend the XLE na, yung automatic. So for the Vios XLE, you have 1.3-liter engine, much better than the Dzire and the Mirage G4. 4 cylinders pa. So medyo may power din talaga tong si Vios, guys. Sige, let's start muna sa pros ni Toyota Vios mid variant. So you have the Toyota's reliability, and then 1.3-liter engine. Remote access lang talaga for the trunk. Yun yung isa sa mga features talaga ni XLE na nagustuhan ko. And then you have 8-inch infotainment screen, good enough niyan, guys, for Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You have a center armrest as well. And then rear camera, rear sensors na siya. I believe when we bought our car, our XLE, it doesn't have it yet, but I believe it's been updated now. That's why nagka-price bump then, I believe. And then LED fog lamps, which I also loved. Shark fin antenna. But for your cons, guys, you have, like I said, very low ground clearance. That's just for me. This is the reason why we gave up on the Vios. We carry a lot of people with us from time to time, so we decided to get a car with, a bit bigger car, and then mas madami din kaming masasakay. That's why I wanted to warn you, if you're someone who's gonna be like that, I believe that you can consider something else. So sumasayad talaga, guys, si Vios. And then next, for me, yung gas consumption niya, medyo malaki rin. Medyo, para sa akin, medyo malakas din siya sa gas, if you could consider that as well. And then second row AC vents, wala po siya nun. Second row armrest, wala din. And then wala pa siyang push start button. Key type lang siya, gaya lang din ng Vios XE. That's why I also like to recommend the XE, guys, because 700,000 lang siya. You already have the automatic car and the Vios that you could get. What you don't have lang talaga is the rims, the mags. Wala lang din siyang rear camera and rear sensors. Of course, yun yung other than pala, remote access. Walang keyless entry and keyless access for the trunk. So having that said, it's up to you. At least I gave you options. All right. So I guess that's it, guys, for this video. If you can consider this top 10, this is my top 10 list for the budget car segment. If you could say that you have more budget, subscribe. We're having next on our future videos, I'm gonna have for you cars that have, more features and more functionality as well, of course with a higher price. But aside from that, this is it for my top 10 budget cars. Regardless which one you will choose, guys, I believe I want to leave you with this, that just trust in the Lord, guys. Kung anong car yung para sa atin, yung ma-achieve natin yung dream natin, diba, na magkasasakyan, just trust in the Lord because He really cares for you. And having that said, I want you to know that God loves you. He sent His one and only Son, that if you believe in Him, you will really have the fullness in life. This has been Ronnie with Project Gentleman, reminding you that when we seek God first, all of the things that we need will be added unto us, and that's when we truly win in life. Thank you so much for watching. See you on the next video.